So is he staying or is he leaving?
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC, part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day, whether you're watching the show on YouTube or wherever you want to download your podcast. Always remember this show is free and never forget how much I appreciate your support. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started. Let me read you this quote. I'm here to finish what I started, and that's chasing a natty here at USC with my teammates. All right. Who doesn't want to hear that, right? That was the message Bear Alexander sent out Wednesday, according to the On3 Network's Hayes Fawcett. A conversation between Bear Alexander and the USC coaching staff took place after reports on his plans to enter the transfer portal, and he's since walked those plans back. And instead, USC will be bringing back a key defensive piece for their 2024 season. So it looks like, apparently, USC, Bear Alexander, they got it all figured out, right? What a difference 24 hours makes, even less than 24 hours. So was there something to get figured out? I guess that's the first question. Obviously, something had to get fixed, right? If you read between the lines, something was said and agreed upon. I mean, think about it. Within a 24-hour period, USC fans found out, I'm sure USC had a little bit of an inkling, that someone, I'm using finger quotes, someone associated with Bear was putting the word out publicly that he's heading to the transfer portal. Done deal. Well, apparently Bear was confused because here's the full message he sent out on X, on social media, Wednesday. I'm not crystal clear on all the noise or what any of this portal mess is about. I'm here to finish what I started, and that's chasing a natty here at USC with my teammates. Fight on. And he put up a couple of these. 2 victory salutes. So, yesterday I said on Locked On USC, this is what I said. Quote, for those who pretend like they listen to the show, think they know what they're hearing when they don't even listen. Let me remind everybody. Quote, I think USC wants him to stay. Everyone has a week before the transfer portal is open to officially get things figured out. End quote. That's what I said on the show yesterday. I even added that, the situation is fluid. Things are I'll keep you updated. This is what happens with these types of things. NIL negotiations are going on. But, I'll be honest, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling real positive that Bear was coming back. Not with the way it was explained to me. So my concern was, why I wasn't feeling good about it was, how do you fix the behind the scenes situation? It was obviously out there. Because no amount of spin can kind of shake the optics. Bear Alexander wants to leave. If he doesn't want to leave, it's because he wants more, allegedly. I think it's a fair assumption that some are concerned with the negative attention that this distraction brought on to the rest of the team. Right? That's why we're talking about it. It's not a positive thing. I mean, it's positive that he's staying, but the whole situation itself isn't a positive. So one way to fix it quickly, nip it in the bud. You have your team leaders get your back. Get out in front of it. Well, after Bear released his message that he wants to chase a natty with his teammates here at USC, Miller Moss, he took that leadership role and he sent out his own message. Quote, never a doubt. Let's do it, B. B short for Bear, obviously. So Look, I don't need to tell you these things. I love telling you things that I hear and that I know, and I have to walk a very fine line. You're not going to have a member of Bear's inner circle, possibly a family member, contacting a regular member of the media, letting say, "Hey, break this news." They know we won't do it. We know we have rules and guidelines that we have to play with, that we have to abide by. So even had I known, this would have been one of those things where, all right, how do we play this game? Anyways, we talked about it on yesterday's episode. One of my favorite everyday listeners, she goes by the name of S-Ban Marie. She made a really astute comment based on yesterday's episode after I laid everything out. And she said, look, I'm not a family counselor, and I'm adding this last part. I think she stayed at a Holiday Inn, though, at least one time in her life, because she was astute enough to pick up on this. And this was her comment. Bear attending 4 different high schools in 4 years tells me there's something going on with his family of origin. She's reading the tea leaves correctly. And that's all I'm going to say. Based on the information that you got yesterday, the day before, on Locked On USC, and what you gathered on your own, what I'm telling you today, I think it's obvious. There were people in Bear's ear saying, "Get more or get out." Like I said, I'll be honest. When the news broke, I was trying to understand why it went down the way it did. It didn't make any sense. So if we take Bear at his word, and he doesn't understand where all this smoke came from, wink, wink, it tells me someone wanted this information out there. Remember the timeline. Bear Alexander re-signed with House of Victory over here on March 29th. He was apparently satisfied with his name, image, and likeness deal. Otherwise, why sign the contract? And look, it's obviously a pretty good deal, especially if you follow his social media account. You know what he has, and I'm fine with that. Although, again, I'm wondering, how long can this version of name, image, and likeness, and the transfer portal, more importantly, and college football, how long can all 3 of those things together, how long can they sustain this type of business model for college football? I don't know, because this isn't a good look. You can't have free agency every year. There's got to be some sort of rule in place. You get 1 transfer. You want to do it a second time? Okay, sit out of here. Look, maybe it was the same source that leaked Bear's plans on Tuesday. Maybe it was a different source later on that day. However, the Orange County Register, local newspaper, confirmed Bear was going to the transfer portal. So, according to the OC Register source, Coach Riley, Coach Henderson, Bear Alexander, and his family, they all hopped on a group call, Zoom. And this is where Riley made it clear as day, according to the source, that they did not want to lose Bear Alexander. On that Zoom call, apparently, Coach Henderson laid out the summer plans detailing training and a development process similar to how he worked with Rams Hall of Famer, soon to be, Aaron Donald. Now, the source also confirmed that NIL was at the heart of the matter because there were some larger deals out there available to Bear. We just have to accept it. You have to accept it. This is the ugly part of name, image, likeness, and the transfer portal. Everybody wants something. And once they have something, then they want more. So I've made my opinion very well stated on this. This is what chased Nick Saban away from college football. Probably only had a few years left to begin with, but it chased him away early. He wanted nothing to do with this anymore. So here you go. Bear said he's staying. Did he get more? I hope this wasn't a leverage play. Bottom line is this: Lincoln Riley, Eric Henderson, they got it done. It was a huge save. So now, let's get back to work, right? And we can all wait around for the transfer portal to actually officially open April 16th. There's going to be movement. In fact, I'll say that for a second here. When I talk about getting back to work, that means working, not just waiting for the season to end and focusing on the NFL. That's my new concern. If anybody thinks that Bear Alexander was going to transfer to another school and stay longer than a year, that was going to be a risk that they would have to take on. If people are telling Bear, hey, go get more money, make sure you don't get hurt this year, get ready for the NFL next year, that's going to be the challenge, making sure you're getting 100% from these types of players who know that their future is a year away. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying these are things to take into consideration. These are the challenges that coaching staffs have to deal with. Now, with Bear Alexander back in the fold, I did get a call from someone who covers an SEC team. And they were asking me about a certain defensive back on USC. Obviously, the alarm bells went off. Whoops. I'll leave that down there. I'm being told that USC is going to be losing a defensive back. He's jumping into the transfer portal. And it has everything to do with playing time, the depth. I think, this particular player is looking like, you know what? I don't know how much playing time I'm going to get, and I want to play. So when the player isn't in the transfer portal yet, this is just another example of how things work behind the scenes. Players are contacted. There's talking going on. Now, with that said, okay, there's also a very good chance that USC is getting someone from the transfer portal that plays the same position. Oh, and this player is going to be coming from the SEC as well. So stay tuned. I'll keep you updated. Like I said, the transfer portal, everything is fluid. Bear said he's staying. We got to make sure, there's still time for, things to change. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Coach Riley, I think Eric Henderson made it known, dude, let's get this done. One more year. I'll show you what it takes to get to the NFL and how to be successful. So, one hurdle jumped. We'll see how many more hurdles we have between now and fall camp. Stay tuned. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their best price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. All-in prices show you your total up front, so you know what you're going to get and how great that deal is going to be when you check out. And you can buy your tickets in seconds, like 2 taps. Trojan fans, hey, have you gotten your tickets for Vegas yet? USC versus LSU? Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. And if you find your tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? You have to turn down the volume with all that shouting? Make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube or their free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. You all heard the expression, one person's perception is another person's reality. Basically, what I see is my reality. Reality is fact. Reality is truth. When USC got Bear to transfer last year, it was a major coup. Think about that. When Bear transferred, Alex Grinch was USC's defensive coordinator. And he decided to come to USC after USC's 2022 season, where this is what USC's defense was that year. The year they got to the conference championship game, almost made it to the playoffs. USC's defense created turnovers. They were opportunistic. That's the best way to describe a trash defense, because that's what they were. In 2023, those turnovers, they kind of evened out. USC wasn't generating, 2 per game. They led the country in plus minus in 2022. So the turnovers evened out, and the scheme was exposed for what it was. Not good. Everyone watched USC's defense in 2023. Why Alex Grinch is now the safeties coach at Wisconsin. So how bad would it have looked after USC made the investment that they did on the defensive side of the ball, only to see one of their best defensive players leave? I mean, the perception changes everything all of a sudden. Look, Eric Henderson should be good enough for everyone, right? He convinced Justice Terry, the 5-star commit, to flip from Georgia. He got Isaiah Gibson, the high 4-star commitment from the state of Georgia, to commit. And everyone around USC feels really confident that the really high 4-star Trajan Odom defensive lineman is going to commit. So if a player like Bear felt differently, then why would others want to come? It was so important for Riley and for Henderson to keep Bear trapped, finger quotes, right where he is, right? Because the reality becomes USC's name, image, and likeness program isn't strong. That's the perception that gets floated out there, and that's the reality. The reality is everything USC is selling is kind of BS. Bear scrap. I can't say what I really want to say. That's how people perceive things. The very last thing a program that's trying to build its defense can have happen is having that centerpiece just get up and leave, especially halfway through spring camp. It's a terrible look of had that happen. Look, no one is bigger than the program. I mean, eventually you're going to pull yourself up and move on and replace them, but you don't want to have to do that. With Bear Alexander staying, that keeps the enthusiasm going, right? It keeps that perception out there that, look, the reality is USC is building a defense. They've got the enthusiasm with the recruiting. The players want to be at USC. That's why it was so important that meeting took place and that they squashed whatever was happening behind the scenes. Like I said, read between the lines. One of these days, I'll be able to kind of fill in the details, tell you everything that kind of was going on, who's involved, what's involved. If you think you know where the comment section is, throw it out there. Just know that there's certain things I can and can't say. I was really pushing the envelope, letting you know about certain things that were going on in practice. So we'll see what happens at Thursday's practice. Again, even if Bear's there, he said he's staying until we know for sure, until he's in uniform. I'll feel a lot better if he's playing in the spring game. That's when I'll take a sigh of relief. Because remember, you only get that 2-week window. If he's not in there from April 16th through April 30th, chances are Bear will be playing for USC when they kick off against LSU in Las Vegas. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball's in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. All right. So we've got that out of the way. I think we've covered Bear Alexander 2 shows in a row as much as we can. Something comes up, I'll bring it up. But that last segment was more about the transfer portal in general, the perception of things, and why it was important that USC not lose that particular one. All right, let's put the football down. Let's pick up the basketball for a few minutes here before we get out of here. I know we were maybe hoping that Isaiah Collier would, want to stay for his second year at USC. See what it was like to play for Coach Eric Musselman, playing the Big Ten Conference. Well, not happening. He made it official. He's going to the NBA, right? Big shock. USC had the #1 player in the country coming out of high school last year. He's going to be a lottery pick in the next NBA draft. And he was fun to watch once he stopped turning the ball over at USC. And he was healthy to play. No, he's done. That was it. We saw Isaiah Collier. Nice young man. But look, we all knew he was coming to USC for 1 year. We'll never know what could have been because of his injury. But look, that's water on the bridge right now. I think if we're being honest, all of those new USC Hoops fans who were showing up to the Galen Center this past year, yeah, a percentage of them were there because of the excitement and the potential of the basketball team last year. They wanted to see Isaiah Collier. But most of them were there to see Bronny and to see Bronny's dad. Just the way it is. Yeah. Unless I missed some announcements, Eric Musselman has 2 players returning from the roster that he, I guess, inherited. What's left of the roster? He's getting Harrison Hornery, who averaged just a 3.3 points per game last year. And he shot only less than 33% from the field, and even worse than that from 3-point range. That's his game. I think Harrison was he got lost from the shuffle. He was down at the end of the bench. Look, there was a lot of crap going on in that locker room. Again, NIL players, you got to play them moving forward. Last year's over with. The other player that's stuck around, still staying around, Brandon Gardner, forward. He played in 1 game for USC last year against Cal State Bakersfield. So USC's got 2 forwards coming back still so far. However, it does look like Eric Musselman he's starting to build that roster up. So here we go. He's got 2 commitments. The first one is a transfer from the University of Pennsylvania. Yep. He's a guard. His name is Clark. I think I'm pronouncing it right. Slatchert. SLAJCHERT. He's from Los Angeles, and he's returning home. He spent the last few years at Penn, where he averaged 18 points per game, and he shot 42% from 3-point range. Good. We want that, right? Here's what Clark told On3. My main goals were to find a school where we could win in March, and I could continue to grow as a person and a player. Coach Musselman and his staff laid out the vision they had for me and the program, and it seemed like the perfect place to develop and prove myself at a high level, while also being around a great group of people that elevate each other. The fact that it aligned at a great academic school in my hometown is a cherry on top. So he's going from the Ivy League, University of Pennsylvania, coming back home, going to USC, which has a really high academic standard as well. Could be an easy transition for him. And USC is actually getting a pretty good player. He actually chose USC over UCLA, Cal, who's playing in the ACC this year, Utah State, San Francisco, Stanford, Michigan was also involved. So again, his talent was, people wanted him on their roster. Musselman also has another guy. This was actually, so Clark was the second guy to commit to Eric Musselman. The first one was a center from the University of Massachusetts. His name was Josh Cohen. He was going to play for Eric at Arkansas. Well, he's following Coach Musselman to USC. One day after USC introduced Coach Muss, the UMass transfer, who was again committed to Arkansas, decided he's going to flip his commitment and come out to USC. He's 6'10", 220 pounds. Last year, he averaged 16 points and 6.8 rebounds for the Minutemen. Before that, he's originally from New Jersey. He had spent 3 years at St. Francis University. His junior year there, he averaged just under 22 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal per game, 1 block, and he shoots 58.5% from the field. All right, that's what you want from your center, right? Here's what you need to know, USC basketball fans. Whoever was committed to Arkansas and whoever is available from Arkansas, there's probably a good chance that they're going to be playing in LA. Yeah, just how it is. For instance, guys like Jalen Shelley, he was committed. He's 6'8", small forward. He got released from his national letter of intent. He was actually the number 57 overall prospect in the 2024 recruiting cycle. And he was the number 19 small forward overall. So not bad. Some of you guys might recognize the name Isaiah Elohim. He's not going to Arkansas. Originally he was. He's a 4-star from Sierra Canyon High School, former Bronny James. He's picking USC. Well, I think he's going to follow Eric Musselman to USC. Originally out of high school, he chose Arkansas over Kansas, Villanova, Alabama, Kentucky, Michigan, USC, and UCLA. Everybody gave him an offer. So USC was recruiting him. He decided he wanted to go play at Arkansas for Eric Musselman. Well, if you want to play for him there, you're probably going to want to play for him back home. So we'll see. This is what Isaiah told On3. I'm a combo guard. I can really pass and score. I can play defense as well. So I'm just trying to be really well-rounded. I'd say my strength is definitely my mid-range game. I can get there anytime I want. I can create for myself as well as create for others. What I need to work on is extending my range and becoming more consistent on the 3-point line. Elohim also participated, by the way, in the 2021 USA Men's Under-16 national team training. So he's a good player. He hasn't committed to USC yet. I'll be shocked if he doesn't come to USC. So there you go. Got some hoops news in there. Football is always going to be the front and center. We're still in spring camp. Practice again on Thursday. I'll have a practice report. I won't be there, but I will have a practice report. And obviously, you'll want to know, is Bear there? Tune in tomorrow on Locked On USC, and you'll find out. You like what you see on the show? Do me a favor, become a subscriber. Smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that bell notification button. And that way you won't miss an episode. And that way you'll get all of your news and notes, everything you want about USC. And when you're done making Locked on USC your first listen every day, head on over to weareusc.com. A lot of content. Until then, everyone, you know what to do.